On a mild Sunday evening in September 1905, a young woman told her colleague she was going out for a little walk. Hours later, a railway inspector walking the pitch-black Merstham Tunnel found her body on the tracks and a silk scarf pushed deep into her mouth. This is a case that was never solved, and the strangest part came 7 years later. Her name was Mary Sophia Money. She was 22 years old, a bookkeeper at a dairy on Lavender Hill in Clapham, South London. By every account, she was careful, capable, and settled. She managed the dairy's accounts, lived above the shop, and had no known troubles, no debts, no threats, no enemies anyone could name. On Sunday, the 24th of September, 1905, Mary finished her work in the early evening. Around 7 o'clock, she told a colleague she was stepping out for a walk and would be back shortly. On her way, she stopped at a sweet shop she knew well and bought a small bar of chocolate. The shopkeeper later said she seemed entirely herself. She mentioned she was going for a walk, nothing more. She never came back. Just before 11 that night, a railway sub-inspector was walking through the Merstham Tunnel in Surrey on the London to Brighton line, more than 15 miles from Clapham. Merstham Tunnel is over a mile long, and inside it the darkness is total. His lamp found Mary Money's body lying beside the rails. Her injuries were consistent with a fall or an exit from a moving train, but one detail unsettled investigators from the very first hour. A white silk scarf, her own, had been forced into her mouth, not draped, not caught, pushed in. The questions began immediately. Mary had told no one she was traveling anywhere. She had no ticket found on her. Why would a woman going for a short local walk end up on a Brighton-bound line in Surrey? Witnesses came forward. A signalman near Purley Oaks reported seeing a man and a woman in a compartment of a passing train and believed they were struggling. A ticket collector recalled a young woman matching Mary's description traveling with a man that evening. But 1905 carriages had no corridors and no connecting doors. Whatever happened in that compartment happened in a sealed box between stations, witnessed by no one who could ever be traced. The inquest heard 3 possibilities. Suicide, but Mary had bought chocolate minutes before, told people she'd be back, and left every sign of an ordinary evening. Accident, but that could not explain the scarf in her mouth. Or murder, a man she knew or had just met, silencing her and forcing her from the train into the darkness of the tunnel. The jury could not choose. They returned an open verdict. No suspect was ever charged. The file went quiet, and then 7 years later, the case turned stranger. In 1912, in a burning house near Eastbourne, police found a scene of horrifying violence. A man had shot 2 women, sisters, and children, set the house alight, and then turned the gun on himself. He had been living under a false name, running an elaborate double life, married in effect to both sisters at once, funded by lies and vanished money. When police unraveled who he really was, the name stopped them cold. Robert Money, Mary's brother, the same man who had identified her body in 1905. There has never been evidence connecting Robert to his sister's death. He was interviewed at the time, like any family member, and nothing was found. But investigators and writers have wondered ever since. Was the capacity for deception and violence that erupted in 1912 already there in 1905? Did Mary, the careful bookkeeper, discover something about her brother's finances or his secret life? Or is it simply a grim coincidence, one family struck twice by darkness? More than a century on, the Merstham Tunnel mystery remains exactly that. No arrest, no confession, no answer to why a woman who went out for chocolate and a walk ended up 15 miles away, on the floor of a mile-long tunnel, silenced. Mary Sophia Money deserved a longer story than the one she got. If this case stays with you the way it stayed with me, subscribe to the Cordon. Every week, we walk back through the cases Britain left behind. And if you have thoughts on what happened between Clapham and Merstham that night, leave them below. Respectfully as always. Until next time, mind how you go.